I found out my son isn't mine, so I exposed my wife's cheating to everyone. Now her family is trying to destroy my life for leaving her. So 2 weeks ago, I found out that my 5-year-old isn't biologically mine. I felt so hurt and betrayed that my wife of 6 years relationship for 9 cheated on me and even got pregnant by another man. I took a paternity test without telling my wife. I immediately confronted my wife and called her a whore in my anger and many other names. She started crying and explained that she hid it because she didn't want to break our happy family of 3. I asked her why did she cheat on me. She explained we had a very nasty argument back in the day, so she hooked up with someone, and it was just one-time fling, and has been loyal to me. She said she had doubts that I wouldn't be the father, but she never took paternity. She said she was happy, seeing me happy, and didn't go with abortion for peace of our family, and didn't tell me the truth. I told her I am divorcing and I don't want to be in our son's life. She started crying and begging me to not break the family, and I am still his father, and I have been a wonderful father and a husband. I should forgive her and don't let DNA destroy our lives, and started begging me. I immediately left and she was blowing up my phone. I decided at first not to tell anyone else, but in the end I got very angry and decided to tell everyone. Everyone is pissed at my wife. Her parents said they want nothing to do with their daughter and cut contact. My sister furiously called my soon-to-be ex and cursed her out. Her brother and sister, on the other hand, said, I have humiliated my soon-to-be ex and shouldn't have told everyone and should have kept in between us. Yesterday, her sister called me and said, I need to take her back and come back for my son. I said I don't have a son. She got angry and started cursing me and said, I am a weak, pathetic man. No wonder my wife cheated on me, and I am so pathetic. I had to go behind my wife's back to take paternity because I am insecure and weak, that I am giving up on my son just because we don't share blood, and I am the reason my wife is alone and depressed. I cut her call. Instead, I called her husband and told him everything. I said that family is full of nut jobs. Maybe it runs in their blood. You should take a paternity as well, and don't trust those beaches. He said he's sorry on his wife's behalf, and we ended the call. Now I am ignoring all my wife's and that beach's calls. Update 1. All right, here we go. Things have been tense, to say the least. After I cut off all contact with my soon-to-be ex and her family, I really thought that would be the end of it. You know, just block her, move on, and figure out how to rebuild my life. But it's never that easy, is it? I thought I could leave all the drama behind, but the truth is, things kept spiraling. The fallout has been a mess, and somehow it feels like I'm still at the center of it, even though I'm doing everything I can to distance myself from that entire situation. First off, after I went no contact with my wife and her sister, or should I say that whole side of the family, I thought I'd have some peace. Turns out, they weren't going to let me walk away without a fight. My wife, or ex-wife, whatever she is now, has been relentless. At first, it was just constant calls, texts, emails, begging, apologizing, saying the same things over and over again about how I'm still the father, how I've raised him as my own, how I shouldn't let DNA be the reason to walk away from my son. I ignored it all. I thought if I didn't give her any attention, she'd stop, but it only seemed to push her into overdrive. Then she started showing up at places she knew I'd be. It wasn't just at the house either. She'd randomly appear outside my work, waiting by my car. She even showed up at the gym once, waiting by the entrance like she was going to have some big rom-com moment where she'd give a heartfelt speech and everything would magically be okay. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen. I walked right past her without saying a word. She tried to grab my arm, but I just pulled away. I'm not giving her any more of my time or energy. I told her that in the beginning, and I'm sticking to it. The worst part, though, she started bringing our son along. I can't tell you how messed up that is. There she was, holding his hand, telling him that Daddy's just upset right now, and Daddy will come home soon. All the while, he's just standing there, confused, looking at me like I'm some stranger. And the thing is, I still love that kid. I raised him for 5 years. He's my son in every way that matters except biologically. And as much as I want to detach myself from all of this, that part of me still feels responsible for him. But I can't let that be a reason to stay in this nightmare. I can't do it. What really threw me, though, was a couple days ago when my soon-to-be ex showed up with her parents. Yes, the same parents who initially cut her off and told her they wanted nothing to do with her. Apparently, they've had a change of heart. I came home from work and found them sitting on my front porch, like it was some kind of intervention. Her mom was crying, saying she never meant to abandon her daughter and that family is family, no matter what. Her dad was more stoic, but he basically said the same thing. They all tried to guilt-trip me, saying I was tearing apart not just my family, but their family too. They said that cutting off contact with my son was cruel and selfish, and that I needed to man up and accept the situation for what it is. I didn't engage. I told them I wasn't interested in talking and went inside. But they didn't leave. They sat out there for over an hour, and I had to listen to my ex-wife sobbing through the door, saying she couldn't believe I was doing this to her, to our son. It was hard to listen to, but I didn't budge. Eventually they left, but not before her dad told me, "This isn't over." Like, what does that even mean? Is he planning to sue me or something? Try to force me into staying involved in their lives? I wouldn't put it past them at this point. Then, as if that wasn't enough, my sister got involved again. Remember how she cursed out my ex? Well, now she's kind of flip-flopped too. She called me a few days ago and said that maybe I should consider working things out for the sake of my son. She said that while she still hates my ex for what she did, it's not fair to punish an innocent child. And I get where she's coming from, I really do, but the damage is done. There's no coming back from this. I can't just pretend everything's fine and go back to being a happy little family. My sister thinks I'm being too stubborn, but I told her she's not the one who was lied to for 5 years. She doesn't know what it feels like to find out your entire life is a lie. And then there's my ex's sister. I didn't think it could get any worse with her, but, oh boy, was I wrong. After I blocked her number, she started creating fake accounts to message me. She's been sending the most unhinged stuff, like telling me that I'm weak for leaving, that I'm pathetic for not forgiving my wife, and that I'll regret it for the rest of my life. She even threw in some weird comment about how real men wouldn't care about something like DNA, and that I'm proving how insecure I am by walking away. Like, what? Real men don't get lied to and just shrug it off. Real men don't get blindsided with the fact that their kid isn't theirs and just go, "Oh, well, guess that's fine." What's even crazier is that her husband called me the other day to apologize again for his wife's behavior. Apparently they're having problems now, because he's started to wonder if she's cheated on him too. The irony is almost too much. I didn't mean to cause any more drama in their marriage, but honestly, maybe it's for the best. He deserves to know if he's in the same boat I was. Still, it's all just a big mess. And I can't believe how far this thing has spiraled out of control. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. No real resolution, just more chaos. I don't know what my next step is, but I'm sticking to my decision. I can't be in a relationship built on lies, and I can't be a father to a kid who isn't mine, no matter how much I might care about him. It's not fair to me, and honestly, it's not fair to him either. I know some people will say I'm heartless or cold for walking away, but until you've been in my shoes, you can't understand what it feels like. This is my reality now, and I've got to do what's best for me, even if it means losing people I once loved. Update 2. So, things have escalated even more than I thought possible. I didn't think there'd be much left to say after everything that's gone down, but here we are. If you thought it couldn't get worse, well, you'd be wrong. After the whole incident with my ex showing up with her parents, I thought that was the peak of their insanity. But apparently, they were just getting started. First of all, My ex has somehow managed to turn the story around and paint me as the villain to a whole new level. She's been spreading lies about me to our mutual friends, people at her work, even to some of my family. She's saying that I've abandoned her and our son, that I'm refusing to help financially, and that I'm basically leaving her to pick up the pieces. It's wild to me because I'm still paying for everything. The house, the bills, our son's daycare. I'm not a deadbeat. I've made sure she's financially stable while we're figuring out the divorce, but she's running around acting like I just left her out in the cold with nothing. What's even worse, some people actually believe her. I've had old friends reaching out to me, asking why I'm being so heartless, why I'm abandoning my family over one mistake. I can't believe how many people don't get it. They see the word mistake and think it's just a little oopsie, like forgetting to take out the trash or being late to a dinner date. This isn't a mistake. This is 5 years of lies. But apparently to some people, I'm the monster for not just getting over it. Then there's my ex's sister. I swear this woman is trying to ruin my life in every possible way. After I blocked her on everything, she started showing up at my house. Not just once, but multiple times. She came by a few days ago and banged on my door for nearly an hour. I wasn't home at the time, thankfully, but my neighbors texted me, saying there was a woman outside my house screaming for me to come out and face her. It's like she's lost her mind. I honestly don't know what her endgame is here. Does she think this is going to make me take my ex back? Does she think this harassment will make me suddenly go, you know what? You're right. I should forgive her for cheating and lying to me for half a decade? I really don't understand the logic. After that incident, I had to call the police. I didn't want to escalate things to that point, but I felt like I had no choice. I filed a report for harassment and they told me to let them know if she shows up again. I don't know if that will stop her, but at least now there's some kind of record. I'm hoping it will scare her off, but honestly, I'm not holding my breath. And speaking of her sister, remember how I told her husband about everything? Well, it turns out he did take my advice and got a paternity test for their kid. And guess what? The kid isn't his. I'm not even surprised at this point. It's like the entire family is just built on lies. He called me a few days ago and sounded absolutely wrecked. He was crying, telling me he doesn't know what to do, that he's been raising this kid for 3 years, and now he doesn't even know if he can look at him the same way. I tried to offer him some advice, but honestly, what do you even say to someone in that situation? He's going through the exact same thing I am, and there's no easy answer. It's all just a huge mess. To make things worse, my ex's sister found out that I was the one who told her husband to get the paternity test. And let's just say she's not happy about it. She sent me a string of messages from a new number, because of course she did, accusing me of ruining her marriage, calling me every name in the book, saying I've destroyed her family. It's insane. She's the one who cheated. She's the one who lied. But somehow this is my fault? I just ignored the messages and blocked her again, but I wouldn't be surprised if she showed up at my house again soon. And now, here's the real kicker. My ex has started talking about fighting for custody. Apparently, she's under the impression that I'm still obligated to be a part of our son's life, even after everything that's happened. She's threatening to take me to court to force me to stay involved. I don't know if she's just bluffing or if she's serious, but either way, it's ridiculous. I've already told her that I want nothing to do with her or the kid. He's not mine, and I'm not going to play daddy to someone else's child just because she wants to keep up appearances. But now, she's saying that since I've been in his life for 5 years, the courts might rule that I'm legally responsible for him, even if I'm not biologically related. I've been doing some research, and honestly, it's terrifying. Apparently, in some states, if you've acted as a parent for a certain number of years, the court can hold you accountable for things like child support, even if you're not the biological father. I don't know if that applies to my situation, but just the thought of it has me stressed out. I'm going to have to hire a lawyer now to protect myself, which is just another headache I didn't need. I've already started looking into family law attorneys, but of course, That's going to cost a ton of money, and it's the last thing I want to deal with right now. And while all of this is happening, my ex is still playing the victim. She's been posting all over social media about how she's fighting for her family and how she won't let a mistake tear them apart. People are eating it up too. She's getting all kinds of sympathy from her friends and followers, with comments like, "Stay strong," and "You'll get through this." Meanwhile, I'm over here, trying to figure out how I became the bad guy in this whole situation. It's exhausting. I feel like I'm constantly being pulled in a million different directions, and no matter what I do, I'm the one who ends up looking like the villain. I've been trying to focus on work, on staying busy, but it's hard when every day brings some new drama. At this point, I don't even know what the next step is. I've already cut ties with my ex and her family, but it feels like they're not going to let me go without a fight. I'm just hoping that with the legal stuff now in play, I can get some kind of closure soon. I need to move on with my life, and I can't do that if I'm constantly being dragged back into this mess. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Things are still a disaster, and I'm honestly not sure when or if they'll ever settle down. I never imagined my life would end up like this, but I guess that's the reality of dealing with people who have no concept of honesty or accountability. I just want to put all of this behind me, but for now, it feels like I'm stuck in this endless cycle of chaos. Hopefully, the next update will have some better news, but right now, it's just more of the same madness.